Hello, hello. Welcome to the studio. Happy Monday, guys. I'm so excited to have you in the studio. And I have been very much so happy to have you. If you've been here for the whole month of March, that means you were here for the 7-part series that I chose to call The Power of Vulnerability, A Path to Strength and Healing. And here we are at day 31, and we are done. I cannot believe it has been 31 days. Listen, let me tell you something. I'm super, super duper excited for myself because that speaks volume that I showed up for what? 31 days. And we'll continue on because Mondays and Wednesdays we're here with live, real conversations. You know what? And that is what I want for us because here on my channel we talk about truth, healing, and renewal, right? And that's also what we've talked about for the whole month of March, how we will have truth and vulnerability as we heal, as we have renewal, as we really, really show up for not everybody else, but show up for ourselves. And that is what I wanted to do. We've had conversations about deep rooted healing. We've had conversations about understanding vulnerability, the myths around them, having courage to be seen. And all of this started with ourselves. And that is what I wanted to really, really, really hone in on. It's just one of those things that I was having a conversation with Sarah, and y'all know I started out with desk time. Usually I start out with FaceTime, but this is different because I wanted you to see kind of what I'm working on. This is two-part. I'm working on this, which is a piece of art that I'm going to frame, and also, or it might become the cover for a junk journal or an art journal that I'm making. I had a whole bunch of board and I could not throw it away because, but I have to use it. So on this channel, I hope going forward, for one, if you've been with me the last 31 days, we'll say 30 days, because you had time to really listen to each Monday and Wednesday conversation. I haven't decided if I'm going to take the last 30 days of vulnerability down, make it private, add it to my program. I haven't decided, but I will say I will leave it up. I know until April 15th. Why April 15th? It's tax day, and somebody might need the encouragement to continue on. But as I was talking to Sarah earlier today, we had a conversation, and I asked her, somebody is wanting her, and I said, well, what do you want? And you need to know what you want, so that way you'll know if you are for them, not for them, if they are for you, because sometimes you have to just tell people no because it's not your lane. And when you are in your lane, driving in your lane, you stay in your lane, you know that when people come along with stuff that does not serve you, then you don't want to be a part of it. For me, myself, and I've learned that I help mothers to heal after the loss of a child. I help them heal from pretty much how to move and how to navigate after the death of a child. And also on the other side of that, I'm a breeder. I do Rottweilers. I help people to basically show up in the world and be resilient by using my own life, which is why vulnerability was so important for me, because I get to show up as me. I get to show up as who I am, and that makes it even better. But, as we navigate through the challenging paths of grief and healing, remember, grief is anything that makes your heart hurt, right? We get to discover here on the channel insights that I get to give you, different tips around art, whether it's the dogs, whether it's my personal journey, whether it's my life, whatever. And you get to physically know how to handle it from me because I get to give you my own expertise, which is great, right? And here on the channel, I want to help you to express your emotions and find solace and foster healing. That's what makes it so great over here on the channel. Slapping paint on paper is what the channel is called. Why? Because I want you to live an authentic life, and I want you to know how and what it is for you. And that's what I did and learned for myself. I'm here. It's new beginnings. So as today is recap of being authentic, day 8, new beginnings. Mr. McCoy, welcome, welcome. My grandmama said call her so she can send up prayers for you tomorrow for your surgery. All right, we're going to, let's see, clean off my desk. I have a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm not going to finish this on the live. That is not what I wanted to do. I thought about it, but because I'm doing it, I need to be breathing. This is my own therapy piece that I started on, but I kept getting interrupted because life happens, guys. And Mr. McCoy had all of these things scheduled for the day because, tomorrow he's having surgery, and I guess he felt like he couldn't schedule him another day. Me personally, I don't do anything on Mondays and Wednesdays. Why? Because I want to be drama free for you guys. But God wanted me to share with you how you pivot when other people add to your day. And this is a good example. This is what Sarah said. Well, that's being authentic, and that's being something else she said. And I was like, well, yeah, it is. But however, I like to choose to go into Mondays with whatever I add to my life, not what other people put on there. So that's me just being vulnerable over here. But so we had to have in the last 2 hours, whatever was on my calendar got pretty much changed because all of a sudden while I was recording videos, I had to learn how to remove background noise because the men for the sighting was here. So they got in that video, and then I had to just revamp again when the pest man came and was coming. So y'all, sometimes your life just happens and there's nothing you can do about it. And when there's nothing you can do about it, then ask yourself, how are you going to show up when other people show up, make you show up? Okay, so we're going to do a little recap. This is some new paper I got from Artist Loft, which is Michael's brand. It says it's 140 pounds. The price says it's a little different. It says that it's 100% cotton. And it's a mold made, which means it's molds like square, and it's extra white, which I don't really care. And it's glued on 4 sides. Now that I do care about. Hey, Bernadette. Okay, for everybody that's coming in, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button, hit that thumbs up button. We are, that needed to refocus real quick. I am using my Holbein, which are my granulating watercolors. I have not gotten my palette. Remember my palette, so I can put my beauties, they're still safe. These, I put up a video that will premiere tomorrow because I'm not sure what I'll be able to do tomorrow. Not sure. Mr. McCoy, we have to have him there at 5:30 in the morning, Georgia time. And if I sound a little irritated, I am. Haven't decided the logistics of how I'm gonna do that because I'm concerned about the dogs and all the things because it's an hour away from the house. So that's what my concern is. Him going to have the surgery is not my major concern. It's just being away from the dogs. Then how long are we gonna have to stay and all those things. That is what is pretty much why I'm really, really, really making. So this is my mental work. And these are all the boxes that's in my head literally right now. Literally. And I decided to put color on them so that I can basically talk myself off this ledge and basically have a conversation with myself. Because, William moves at the beat of his own drum. He's like, okay, it's 5. It'll be 4 o'clock. It'll be like, okay, it's time to go. Wait, that's 5 o'clock there, So we have to have I personally have to have my own plan. If I don't, then I feel like things will just all of a sudden wake up too late and whatever. So that is that. And now, because we're going to talk about recapping the whole month of March. It is March the 31st. We have finished the whole series, The Power of Vulnerability. Now, for those of you that are in the chat and you're here on live, I want you to tell me, what have you learned about yourself during the month of March while you've been taking part in this 7-part series, The Power of Vulnerability, A Path to Strength and Healing? So put it in chat. Let me know what you've learned, what you've gained for yourself, and we'll go from there. Me personally, I've learned that being vulnerable also means I have to accept the fact that other people are not vulnerable. And so, therefore, because I'm all out here in the streets, that I have to really kind of pause for their sake, not just mine. And I thought maybe that wasn't something new, but it was. I learned that I need to stop letting people live rent free in my head because they don't care. And therefore, I shouldn't care. And my brushes that I want to use is in the room because that's where I was using them last night. But they're also packed up because I want to be able to have them for when I go. Oh, we can use this one. This one's kind of shaped like it. Maybe. It's an interesting shape. But anyways. So we had in episode 1, understanding vulnerability, breaking all the myths. We kicked out some things. We had unpacked some things and talk about what vulnerability really is for us and what it's not. We learned that vulnerability isn't a weakness, and we learned that it's a gateway to true connection and healing. Now, that is what I personally learned on my journey of being vulnerable, long time ago, of trying to really walk into my vulnerability. I'm gonna wake up all my paints because I don't know what color I'm gonna use. We're just gonna slap some colors down because I'm feeling all of them and is. And being vulnerable is just one of those things that you just kind of, how do I say? Most people are scared because being vulnerable kind of puts you on a playing field to be, what do I want to say? I don't know. And remember, I have to speak from my vantage point. I can't speak from nobody else's. But for me, vulnerability used to mean that I was weak. I was putting myself out there. I was opening up the door for somebody to hurt me. That's what it was for me. And so therefore, as long as I kept my guard up, nobody could step in, nobody could come in. And that was just between me and myself. I wasn't like, now I'm vulnerable about it. I don't have a problem with saying what it is, or maybe to somebody who made me feel that way, right? This brush. Oh, okay, it's doing all right. So that is the one thing for me, which is why I felt that doing this series was something that was gonna help me to be more vulnerable. Oh God, that dropped on there. Let's go and use it. We're gonna use everything. Oh, that's good. Um, and even in my art, because that was a place that I was vulnerable. I felt like it wasn't good enough. Um, and I was just out here, people looked at it and was just like, oh, she's just out here trying to heal from the death of her son. And so, yeah, like I needed to take me serious. And so now on the other side, here we are years later, and I mean years later. God, I cannot believe it's years later. But I am a self taught artist, watercolorist. And when I say self taught, that means I didn't go to school. I have sat under some people. Like I'm under one, taking a class right now so I can loosen up on my watercolors because I have a certain look that I want my watercolors to look like. And so I can also take my life in the artist world, and I've learned to look at it from the vantage point of life in general. I am just as hard on myself in life as I am in art. Right? So in episode 2, we talked about courage. As we go into it, we had to overcome vulnerability makes you feel fear and shame, right? Just like I said, all the things. So once you get to that place to where nobody's talking about you the way that you think they are, you're doing the self-talk. You're talking about yourself, right? So when you finally realize that this is your script, nobody's written this script, this is your script, then you move on. And then you learn that, oh, no worries. So, and then even if it does come up, like, I use the saying, most people be, when I talk to certain people, I have a very, I have a very colorful language sometimes. And when I really want people to really hone in on a conversation, I really have to go there and sometimes speak a language that I feel like when I say it all biblical, they don't get it. But when I say it, like worldly, then they get it. So it's just like when I say I be whoring around with churches on Sundays, on YouTube. I don't go to church physically, but I just, go to this church on YouTube, then that one's done, click that one, and oh, let's go see this one and then that one. And so in my colorful language, I say, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be whoring around with different churches today. Whoever scrolls through or whoever hears that and be like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. I'm not talking to you. I'm probably not for you because that's how I come out. My vulnerability is I'm not shame. I don't have any shame. I don't have to overcome the fear and the shame because I know that God has called me for such a time as this to have these kind of conversations because too many people are so heavenly minded they're no earthly good. I'm not in heaven yet. And so therefore right now when the people that needs to hear me so that they can know that God still loves them, they're going to laugh at it and keep it moving. That's why, and I'm going to digress a minute right here. Marvin Sapp, I was very shocked that he gave a reprieve of why he explained what he did on that video. If you haven't seen that video, just email me or just hit me up on my social media, and I'll be happy to forward it to you because it was the people that go to church, we've been hostages as the I was there for the comments. Let's put it that way. I was there for the comments. I wanted to hear what people had to say about Marvin Sapp telling the ushers to close the door and being very adamant, close the door. Like I had my bishop was the same. It's the reverence of the time. And if you didn't grow up in the church, you don't know them people are very serious about closing doors and not walking around when it's time to give reverence that way or whatever. So I was there for the comments. I didn't really it didn't bother me like it bothered some people. But I was shocked that when my daughter sent me the next day that Marvin Sapp did a said something about whatever. And it then the original video was like it's old. It's not like it happened last Sunday. So I was shocked about that too. But I said all that to say when you're called to a people, your people understands you. It's just like when you're called to a relationship. Your husband or your wife or your mate, they understand you. And when people be like, well, what's our problem? Or what's his problem? And then the other person be like, what you mean? That's every day. Because I'm talking about in the good instances. I'm not talking in the bad instances. Now, because sometimes um, it's just who they are, and nobody they've really. And I'll use me for example. If I say something crazy, some people might think it's crazy, and William might be like, "What do you mean? That's just her standing up for her." Because in the past, life is served, and I've kind of sat back and took a lot of BS from people because I felt like that's what I needed to do as a good girl Christian. I felt like, what would Jesus do? And then I had to go back, and Jesus was like, God was like, Jesus died for sin, not you. So then it came back and be like, okay, well, I'm not going to be trying to explain my relationship with God. Now, that is me being vulnerable. That is me not worrying about what it's going to look like to other people. You know why? Because it's not my problem to fix and solve everybody. Everybody wasn't called to me, right? It's not for everybody to understand me. I'm the mother of 7 children. The person that can't stand the hard tone and the like, oh my gosh, she's just so rough. I'm just not for you because I'm not finna be that. Um, you know, I'm not gonna mark it because those people I need those people in my life too. But here's the thing, Bernadette is very William. There's the UPS man, so he might be bringing you what you was looking for. Um, y'all know it ain't for me because I ain't expecting no watercolors, but I am expecting some packages. Hey, we might have our palette for our package, but I'm not the one that will come and make you feel like I'm finna serve you some ice cream. So I'm the one that I don't mean it, but sometimes you have to just get cut Like the sword got to come down, the guillotine got to just cut so that you can get up and heal yourself. So you can get up and clean yourself and wipe the bull off of you and move forward, right? Maybe. I don't know. But I have learned that, this is why vulnerability for the month of March was so important for me. I wanted people to know that there's nothing wrong with showing up as who you really are. And a lot of people that are on social media and a lot of people that are doing some of the things that they're doing and some of the, the people that make me laugh on my worst days, they're doing what they feel is what they need to do, or they feel that they need to do to, make them feel good. I don't know. Can't speak for them. I can only speak for me. I show up here and I slap paint on paper and I have a conversation twofold because people need to see and people need to hear. And those are two ways that I learn. The other ways, I'm pretty much probably lose those people. I'm just not, again, I'm not for everybody. And I'm okay with that. I used to not be, and I used to try to, you know, do everything I needed to do for whoever. I'm not no more. I'm okay. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, that's too blue. I need to put some more green on that. I don't want the blue green. We want the stem. And slapping paint on paper has helped me to be able to use it as a tool to have these great conversations and to be here for you guys. Like I like showing up. It makes me feel good. You know why? Because there are people here every single day. Every time I show up, um, they're here. Oh yeah, that must be for him. That's a big box. He had to open the gate. I'm glad the dogs went out. Oh, this is look, this is pretty. Now what the flower is, I don't know. I've been looking at pictures of flowers all week because I've been in that book. Um, what's that book called? Oh, please excuse Lauren. She don't like the man. Um, okay, hold on. I feel like my internet is acting okay. Let me know because if the weather is bad. That's what I meant to. I forgot to give my disclaimer. The weather is bad, and therefore it's not gonna be okay. I'm trying to watch as I go, and then when things get a little slow, that lets me know to pause and kind of hold on until my internet gets back great and catches up. I'll be glad when we get this fiber optic hooked up because on my end with my eCam over there, it shows up, but it's not until my phone actually there is that. Nope, I need it to go. Um, if you can in the chat, if you can, let me know how it's working for you because I don't want to be going too far ahead and then you get to missing stuff. What up, Sarah? Can you hear me? Is I'm here? Is I'm here? Am I here? Am I here? Am I here? Okay, I think it's back. Because okay, it's because the weather is bad here, and y'all know when the weather is bad here, that makes internet that makes this a little rough, a little hard. Okay, so just bear with me. If it goes out, it'll come back, and I know you'll be like, well, I might miss something when you say something. Yeah, I'll try to keep tabs on it. But so far, I think it's been good. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know it was good enough for Mr. McCoy to hear me to go tell him to get the UPS man, but okay. And it looks like it's good on my end over here too. Just maybe a little behind, maybe. Not sure. Okay. Which is why I think until I get the fiber optics, until we get the internet, I think I'm just going to do it from my phone and it'll work out better that way. But I digress. I digress. I will stay the course. It's clear on my end. Okay, great, 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 great. Okay, I'll stay the course. So, okay, where was we? Where was we? Where was we? Okay, we did episode one. Episode one was understanding vulnerability, breaking the myths. Two was courage to be seen, overcoming the fear and the shame. That's the one. Yeah, that's where I was. Vulnerability is powerful, right? It will open up doors for you. Literally, when you stop worrying about you, because everyone else don't see what you see. You see you, you know what you're feeling, and they don't. So that's what that was the main thing I had to get over, and therefore I show up on YouTube now. And I mean, again, I start out with I'm not for everybody. If horn around with the church offend somebody, then that just means I'm not for you. I'm not really trying to worry about it, because if not, that puts me back in a box and make me have to realize, well, what's the problem? Really, there isn't a problem. That's just someone else that needs to be more vulnerable with themselves and understand, well, wait, that's just, there's nothing wrong with that. However, I'm okay with it. Now, no, episode 3, let's see, episode 3, where are my notes? I got my notes, y'all. Was vulnerability in grief, when openness heals. Vulnerability and grief, that's me all day long. I've been vulnerable about my son Joshua Brown's death, so much so that now I use his name. I used to didn't. But now I'm being very vulnerable in it. Why? Because my grief is raw. It's personal. It's mine. Right? And so when we talked about that, we talked about why I share my grief. And then I took brave steps in towards my healing and letting it not be a burden. Because it was already hard enough trying to grieve and trying to really, really navigate the life without my child. Right? But then trying to worry about who knew and who knew him and who knows me and all that, that became exhausting. Right? So I didn't care. I don't care. I don't, let me not use that word. I'm trying to get that word out of my vocabulary. I'm trying to use a better word to describe my emotion. It didn't need to be the frontal of my brain of worrying about something that maybe people wasn't even worrying about. It was my problem, basically. It wasn't nobody else's problem. Okay. And so in my grief journey, I have been very open about the fact that losing my son, the way I did, his murder, and then the trial of the people that murdered him and all that, the whole 5 years was rough. And so in my vulnerability, as we did the series, I got to talk about it. I got to really walk in some emotions. And then I got to really share with you guys why it helped me. Like, right. Why it really, really helped me and made me feel better. My artwork became more dramatic because I was putting my emotions out on the page, and then I wanted to do more for other people because it has done so much for me to just kind of heal with like my grief. It's kind of like, let's see, like you get a Letterman jacket and you're proud of your letter. And I'm proud that I'm walking through my grief. So it's kind of like a Letterman jacket. That's what's coming to mind right now. I don't know. It speaks to me right now. I like to have analogies, and that one is kind of walking with me right now. I don't know why. Probably because I have the shirt that I have on reminded me of it, because it's, has some, I like shirts that have sayings and things like that. And then when I wear them, I forget when people be staring, they be reading the shirt. Because I was like, what y'all looking at? They be reading the shirt. Girl. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so this is all dry. These are my Holbein granulating watercolor paints. And look at that. Like, I'm in love over here with granulating watercolors. Okay. Okay, so as we go, episode 4 was talking about vulnerability in relationships. And I think episode 4 kind of went over 5 through 7. I personally continue to talk about relationships, because I, again, was walking through my own personal vulnerable situation of being vulnerable of a relationship that really had rocked me to the core. And I was navigating through that. So that made it, the more we talked about it, the more I kind of had to be vulnerable about my own crap. So, like, even, what was that, Saturday? I think Saturday. Sarah and I was talking about it. I had to have a conversation. We had a conversation. It's like, I need to get this out of my head. So, like, for today, because I know it's going to come up, guys, right? Because it's what I want to do. I don't want to live my life and try to kind of hide things without, knowing how to tell you how to navigate through them. That's my point. And so as Sarah and I was talking, it's just like, it's not that I don't want to talk about it. It's just that I need to be mindful because this is on a public platform, and I'm not trying to put everybody out there in the street just because I don't mind being out there in the street. BAN, and if you know what BAN is, then you know what I mean. But so it made me. But after our conversation, it was just like once you talk it out, get out of your head. Just like, oh, okay. But I was more so just like I had told her. I don't want nobody living rent free in my head, right? That was the main thing, and because of the situation that had happened, it brought up some old thoughts and some old feelings and friendship. I'm grieving a friendship right now because I'm not in the relationship with the friend the way that I like to. Like, I'm all about friendships, creating a deeper connection, and this person, I personally feel, is very shallow. It's a one-sided friendship. It's not, reciprocity. What not so much is, well, I give you, you give me. Not tit for tat, but it's more so when I'm down, I'm down, and you kind of can talk me through it. Or when we talk, like, I'm gonna use Sarah because Sarah and I and Bernadette and I have two-way conversations. It's not one way. It's not I talk, and I don't give them a chance to be like, well, this, and this. I don't like those kind of, conversations. I want to have a two-way. If I say something and you feel like, and I don't always want to be right either. Like, sometimes, like, it might not feel good, but just gonna slap the crap out of me so that way tomorrow I'll feel better, right? I'm not trying to stay broken. That's the whole point of being vulnerable. I want to be powerful on this walk, right? I want to be powerful with the partners that I'm working with the clients that I have, with my children, and with friends. And a good friend is going to tell you when you are doing something wrong, or when you're doing something that convicts you with them, or you did something you feel like, you got to step outside the box and be like, girl, my bad. Or, you know what, I kind of talk to you a little rough. Because sometimes Mr. McCoy will come and it'd be like, I'll snap. And so I'll have to go back and be like, you know what, my bad. It don't happen too often. And it don't happen too often because sometimes I feel like he deserved a snap. But that doesn't make it right. Right? So sometimes in my mind, or in my journal, or in my planning and my prayer time, I have to be like, Lord, it wasn't right. So you can change that, change my little snappy into a better snappy. Like, I'm still have a snapback. I just don't need it to be so rough. Um, and that's just something I'm working on, because that's just generational. That's family. Doesn't mean it needs to be continued. So it's something that I know, and it's something that I'm working on. And you know, sister needs somebody that's gonna slap on the finger. When you go to doing something wrong, we used to pop the little kids on the hand. It's just like, I need a friend every now and then to just pop up, cause William ain't gonna do it. He just be like, that's just her. Let her go on and say what she gotta say. Anyways. And then after that, we had, let's see, episode 6 was the role of vulnerability in self healing. That one was very good. I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed them all, but I enjoyed them more so as engagement, as y'all engaged and talked about, how things were for you. So let me give my commercial for Team Replay, because Team Replay been showing up for this month as well. If you have anything that you want to share in the comments, share. Or if you don't want to share in the comments, I have my email in the description box. You can send me a message and let me know what was your greatest takeaway this month, and what really, really, really helped you. Okay, and if you're on Team Replay and you haven't seen it, and you need to do I'm gonna link the series. It's all linked together. You say really, like you weren't ready for that, or what? Tell if you want to explain what your really was, because I know what you really mean, but let the people know what your really means. Okay, Team Replay. If you have not, I will link this video to because all of them is in the playlist. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, and join us on this healing journey, because we're here to get through life together. No one should have to get through life and all the traumas or all of the sad times or whatever. I don't want you to be alone. I'm building this community so that we will have someone that we can talk to. It may not be me. Maybe it's somebody you become friends with in the chat. I don't know. But I just want to bring together a community so that when we're navigating through life's journeys, we can help each other to get through it. We can pray for each other. We can, cry together, or we can fuss and cuss together. Whatever it is you want to do. Hi, Azuka's Kitchen. How are you? I appreciate it. Appreciate it. I haven't scrolled over there. I need to go see what you're cooking today. What are you cooking today? I went back and did my rice, and my rice came out a whole lot more fluffier. I'm getting better at it, but rice was not my thing. I have not done that apple pie, but right now, since I'm finna be a caregiver for the next 6 weeks, y'all pray for me. Because Mr. McCoy don't like pain, and although he talking about he finna be out here running around the ranch, he gonna take a week off and he gonna be out here running around the ranch. Y'all pray for him. Y'all pray for him. Since he talking in there, I want to know what that really is. You ain't came back and comment on that really. You need to come in the studio and comment and tell the people what your really means. Anyways, so self-healing. That's what episode 6 was, being vulnerable in self-healing. That's self-talk. I told y'all it's okay to talk to yourself. Excuse me. It's okay to talk to yourself, right? I think if you can't talk to yourself, then oh my goodness, right? You know, I remember when I wasn't in the realm of, I wasn't dating, wasn't seeing anybody, whatever, and friends of mine would be just like, "Oh, I'm so tired of being by myself. I just want to be with somebody. I'm so tired of being by myself." And I used to think about it, and I said something to Elder Dots, and I was like, "I'm not tired of being by myself. Is something wrong with me?" And he's like, "No. People that are tired of being by themselves have never really been by themselves. You've embraced being by yourself. Like you've learned to be single and be alone." And like for a long time, I was just like, "Whoa, ain't nothing wrong with being by yourself." So anyway, I learned how to do self-talk. Talk to yourself. Sarah said, "For me, vulnerability is not you being weak. It's strength you have to break through." Right. Is that hard for you? Is it hard for you to do that? I don't think I wanted that color on here. Let me get that off my brush. And in my art, remember I told y'all I had to be vulnerable with my art, so I had to do a lot of self-talk as I was painting, which was hard sometimes when I would be on here on live. I start talking to the painting and be like, "Wait a minute, you got people on here, talk to them." So that has been a thing. So I don't mind talking to myself. Like, people talk to the TV. Like, I'll talk to me. So I like me. I like hanging out with me. Right? Um, but yeah, so that series was about self-compassion, self-reflection, building self-trust through brave act of being honest with who? You. Taking a mirror. Y'all remember Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror? Like, look in the mirror and talk to yourself. Remember I told y'all to go stand in the mirror naked as the day you was born and tell yourself how fine you are, tell yourself how beautiful you are. Because if you don't tell yourself these things, don't wait on nobody else. Affirm yourself when you wake up this in the morning. Like I was talking to my daughter earlier today, and I'll say, no, you have to love you because you have to know how to love you. So therefore, when someone does come in your life, you can tell them how you want to be loved. If you don't even know how you want to be loved, then how are you going to tell somebody how to love you? Like, seriously though, like think about that. I don't have a problem telling William what I want, when I want, how I want it. Because I've spent a lot of time with me. Right? And I think a lot of women want the marriage, they want the wedding, but they don't want the marriage. And when you people talk about, "Oh, I can't wait to meet my soulmate so we can be one." No, it's not be one. It's become one. It takes time. You don't just because you meet him don't mean y'all gonna become one time y'all say I do. That's work in progress. Like William and I still aren't one because we're still learning how to navigate each other. At least I am. And so all of the becomings are still a work in progress. There's still things he do because that's who he is. There are things that I do because that's who I am. Right? And so even in friendships, you got that friend, y'all be like, child, we can't do such and such and such because such and such don't want to do that. And then y'all already know how he or she is. So that's what I'm saying. So when you know that, you can't expect the person to be like have an attitude, because now it depends. Now we ain't talking about I'm not talking about somebody that wants their way all the time. I'm just talking about, that they are gonna do it, but they're gonna complain. But they'll do what you want to do. But y'all know I don't want to go no mountains. It's snow. I don't want to go to the snow. But they'll do it. But they're gonna complain. I be wanting to go to the beach, and then everybody in the group be like, "Well, when it's your time, we'll go to the beach." You know. So that's what I'm saying. When you have a friendship, you just become one with who that person is. Not that you're asking them to change, because some people are just hardwired. And I'm learning that they just ain't gonna change. And that's those are those deep rooted core, the heart of them. Like, some people are great with money, and you can't change that. Me, I don't have a deep rooted relationship with money. It could come and go. It don't matter to me. William, he need money to be here, so because he need to pay the bills and the things. I'm okay. Long as I got mortgage money, light bill money, water bill money, the essential, and watercolor money. Some all that other stuff, I'm just like, well, if they want to come and get it, come get it. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, right? But I also see where God is taking me, so much so that money is not the thing I need to worry about. It is not, because he's gonna provide for me. And I want you to think about this. It's not your thing. This is Karenology. God is going to provide for me, and I'm not going to have to worry about it. Right? That's just my superpower for right now. I have $1 million check. God just ain't released the funds yet. Okay? And then that $1 million check is going to be $1 million in like the first quarter. So then the second quarter is going to be like $2 million, and so forth and so on. That's where, for me, so money is not going to be my issue. I'm not going to worry about, is it here or is it there? Do we got enough money to do this? Do we got enough money to do that? I'm not stressing over that. Let somebody else do it. And so I believe in my psyche, somewhere along the line, um, in the life I was here before, because I always say I feel like I've been here before. I just feel like God has already shown me, I got you. Which is why that circles back to why I trust and believe in Him. After losing my son being murdered, people are like, I can't believe you still even believe in God. Well, I had 12 years of God keeping me through losing a child, because my daughter and granddaughter, I lost a child 12 years before I lost another child. God kept me for 12 years and kept me in my right mind. I feel like, hey, I'm not going to stop believing. And He never promised me that my children would see me die. He never said how it was going to work out. So I have to trust and believe in Him. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to just trust the process. So if you're stressing over something right now, just be like, Lord, you got this. I don't even know how to handle it. You got it. And just believe it. Which is, we circle back to the beginning of today, is what I tell myself. And for tomorrow is what I tell myself, Lord, I know you got it. And I know I feel like I got to control it and have everything, all my ducks in a row, but I get to relax. That's why I was doing this, because this is mind work. This is mind work for me. Is you can't control. All you can do is put the tape down. You can't control if it bleeds under the tape. You can't control if it goes over in there. You can't control what happens in the other box, right? That is you. This is my way of knowing that I'm not in control of everything that happens or everything that goes on in my life. Something as simple as this works for me. Okay? Now, again, if you need to do number 6 is the one I will highlight the most, because when we're talking about vulnerability, we're talking about self. I can't tell you how to be vulnerable, right? I can't. All I can do is tell you to do the work, and then you will tell yourself what you need to do to be vulnerable. And when you have self-reflection, self-trust that you're going to be okay when you talk trash to yourself, Because you got to talk trash to yourself. Because, I tell self sometimes, self, go sit down. We ain't got time for that today. And be okay with it. Like, really, be okay with it. Okay? All right. This is turning out great. Those are great. Those are great. It's working out. I feel like, again, I want to do something else, but I'm not going to really overwork it. But I like the way these Holbein watercolors. And if you are here for the art and anything I've said that talking about the paint, the watercolors are Holbein granulating watercolors. And if you want to know how the rest of them work in this beautiful palette, I will put the video. I'm going to try to do it. I tend to forget the video to this one that I did swatch them, because this is what, those are Daniel Smith. These are Holbein. This is what they looked like swatched out. And you can see I used Parrot Pink, Trumpet Vine Red, which is this, and I think I used a little bit of Cherry Blossom Pink. And Peafowl Green. So yeah, so we do it. So we'll link that video, or you can scroll through it's in the playlist Watercolor Fun. Because I try to separate and put a playlist, because I do know sometimes I get scatterbrained over here on the channel, because I get super excited when I get to show up and be vulnerable, right? And then when I make it through something, or when something happens and it's like, oh man, that turned out great, or this turned out great, be like, oh, I need to share. And then I'll pop up here and I just do a video or do a live. And so therefore I've tried to categorize them to make it better. Now I'm going to do, let's see. You know what? I'm going to do it. I am and is. Let me see. Let's see. Um, mm, oh Lord, it's because of these leaves. You know what? Just do it, Karen. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. See, sometimes self-talk works. Just do it. Talk to yourself. Tell yourself, just do it. Jump on out there and do it. I've been sketching more. So I got my sketchbook in my to-go bag. So while Mr. McCoy's in surgery, y'all know I'll be slapping paint on paper. Okay, now we need that to come around there. I gotta pause for a moment. Hold on, because I don't want to mess it up. Told y'all self-talk is a wonderful thing. Okay. All right, I like that. That's pretty. That's pretty. I was deciding whether I was going to put it in a vase. Y'all probably figured that out by now. And I'm trying to hone in my stuff a little bit so that I can put them in vases, because I like the way they look in vases. Now let's go in and just slap. That needs to be a little bit more watery. Okay. Okay. So the self reflection. What was that? Episode 6. That was, I think, the one that I would love for everybody to really, really focus on self. And remember, vulnerability. We're not talking about vulnerability. We're not talking about telling somebody they need to be more vulnerable with themselves. That's not what I'm saying. I want you to tell yourself you need to be more vulnerable with yourself. Stand in the mirror, have a conversation, talk to yourself. And, and the first thing I want you to do is tell yourself how beautiful you are, how worthy you are, how fabulous you are, so that way when you show up in the world, you're not waiting for people to affirm you. You've already done the self-talk, done the self-work, and know that when you showed up in that room was already ready for you. Okay? They just needed to call you, and you just needed to show up. Oh, it's getting a little watery. That's pretty. I like that. That's yummy. So, we're going to go around. I feel like my thing is behind, which it probably is. Okay. Because my internet, it done cleared up here, but I think the weather is coming from Atlanta way. I think. Let's see. Okay, so being authentic in vulnerability requires you to be, oh Lord, who he barking at? She barking at now. Requires you to show up for yourself first. Okay, show up in full unapologetic self. Okay, don't worry about how people feel. Talk yourself through it. It's okay. And when you start talking negative thoughts, just know those aren't other people's thoughts. Those are your thoughts. So if you're having a conversation, oh, I don't want to do this because they might look at they doing this or they doing that. That's not their thoughts. Those are yours. And that's just me telling you how I used to show up in a room. But now I walk in the room like I own it, like it was my room from the time they built the place. Just don't worry about all the things because most of the time that's just usually it. Okay. That is pretty. We're going to put some of that on the inside. I need it to be real, real watered down though because it needs to look like water. Water, water, water. That's too blue. Just a little bit. And then I don't want to wet it up because then it'll ignite the other one. Okay, so this series, it's over. I do not have anything planned for April except for showing up on Mondays and Wednesdays. Now, if I do come up and me and the Lord have a conversation, I feel like He's already given me something and I'm ignoring Him. Probably because I didn't want to do it like I didn't want to do vulnerability. Um, yeah, as a matter of fact, it just dropped down like it literally. He just like kind of just like, I told you. So, but it'll be okay. I'll show up. I'll be here Mondays and Wednesdays. Yep. I miss Dawn today. Dawn's not here. I hope everything's okay because y'all know. Finally, I hope they didn't get hit with a snowstorm or something like that because, Dawn's in Maine. And I'm so used to seeing certain names in the chat. I'm so grateful for you guys for showing up because you could have been doing something else instead of sitting here watching me really, really, really paint. That's nice. Okay, and that turned out okay. It kind of makes it look like it's hanging over the edge. So that did pretty good. Did pretty good. I want this to be a little more bolder. Oh, that was a lot. Okay. I will give you guys an update on Mr. McCoy's surgery tomorrow, but it is tomorrow. Y'all have him in your prayers, have us in your prayers, have the doctors so that the doctors do what they're supposed to do. And all the things, we have no issues because anytime you got to be put under, it is what it is. So, and we go in with our eyes open, but our hearts are free to pray that, God's got it and He's going to handle it and everything is already done. And pray for Mr. McCoy to do everything he's supposed to do all through the whole 6 weeks, not just 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then try to go back to work, but for him to literally sit down and take this time to just really heal his heart, mind, and his soul. And pray for us because last time we went through this knee surgery, uh, it just made it a little hard because I just like forget it. You do it yourself. But I know he can't do it by himself because he's gonna have to have somebody to push, and he don't like being pushed. He'd rather go somewhere and crawl in the corner and be like, just give me a pill. It'll be over tomorrow, and it's not gonna be over tomorrow unless you go through the whole thing. All right, I'm gonna stop slapping paint on it. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. See, I said it, but I'm gonna keep looking at it because it keeps talking to me. It really keeps talking to me. Okay, episode 7 was last week, and I feel like episode 7 today is Monday. Episode 7 was last Wednesday, and episode 7 was really, really the freedom of being vulnerable, but it was also encompassed of some things that were going on personally, some conversations that had happened. So it got to it. We had a overlap of things on 7, but we did close